I'm gonna say something that I never thought I would say about I Parry Everything, and I feel like many people are gonna think I'm exaggerating, overhyping, maybe they're gonna claim recency bias. But let me just say, this is not me saying you have to agree with this, but this is exactly how I'm feeling. I Parry Everything, after watching its last episode, I'm putting this as anime of the season. I really am. For me, this was the show that the past 4 weeks or so, it's the show I look forward to the most. But most importantly, it took a formula that I really thought I knew what to expect and did something completely different. And with seeing the backstory from the instructor's side, it really puts a bow on this season and has me saying they best make a season 2, because if you gave me multiple seasons, if not a full adaptation of something like this, I don't see how this wouldn't become a new favorite of mine. Like, I truly think this show became a 10 out of 10 by the end, and somehow the production got crazier the longer the show went on. You know, I have those full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and good thought to any of these wonderful episodes over there exclusively. So, I don't think many people are going to claim this is their favorite show of the season. I bet there's a decent amount that might say it's one of their favorites, but to say it's the absolute favorite of you it's a bold claim. There's a lot of, if you include sequels and stuff, like there's some heavy hitters this season. But I've said it for a little bit now. There was 3 shows that really stuck out to me and took formulas that I thought I knew what to expect and just did something different. Osanubi, I Parry Everything, and No Longer Allowed in Another World. Those 3 are the shows that really surprised me the most. But quickly into this episode, I just looked at what they did and I said, damn, this is actually my favorite show of the season. And I realized we're not gonna because when you get an immediate confirmation, like you have something like, say, yesterday with Alia Sometimes Speaks in Russian, immediate season 2 announcement, it's kind of like a, yeah, you know, you knew you were getting it. And I knew we weren't going to get an immediate season 2 announcement for this. I do think we will eventually, but it will probably be a year from now, and then another year to fully get the season. And maybe hype and buzz because it's no longer the hot new thing of the season will be away. That's okay. This show's awesome to me. It really did something different, and I saw a lot of people, mixture of my comment section, Reddit, stuff like that, there was this opinion that the instructors thought that they couldn't teach Noor, and that's why they pushed him away, that they just had nothing to teach the kid, he was just too natural. And there really was only one of the instructors that kind of ended up being like that, which was the archery. But the idea that this kid would come in, because we got this episode and it shows everyone's point of view, and the fact that the heartwarming ending, had Noor not, you know, left, which it's okay that he did. He ended up being successful, even if he is a little clueless, but had he stuck around, he would have known his strength up till now, but that's a whole different can of worms. The idea that they all wanted to collectively train him as like this family is just so freaking heartwarming. But the idea that by around month 2, each of these schools would look at him and say, okay, had no expectations on the kid, but props. But by month 3, he wouldn't be doing anything else. A swordsman can't be a swordsman if all he can do is parry. Okay, you're coming to an archery school. You can't even grip a bow because you got that gorilla grip, but you have precision with your throwing. Apparently you can hunt birds that not even a professional archer will be able to hit with a bow. So it's like, each of them going and seeing like this massive potential, but then he hits this wall. It's not about you're pathetic or you can't do it. It's like, hey, there's talent here, but I'm not the school that's going to be able to bring it out in you. We clearly have hit a wall. If not my favorite, one of my favorite was with the old wizard. So there's this big ass magical sphere that just enhances all your senses. It's supposed to help you like unlock some mana, some spells if you hit a rope, but apparently it's so extreme that shit, if you were left in there for too long, you'd absolutely die. He tells him to go in there. He's like, okay, you know, because pretty much like, yeah, he'll be out probably in 5 minutes. Dude comes over, he's been in there for 2 days. Oh dear God, he's dead. Noor then looks at him and says, leave me alone, I'm close to a breakthrough, and pushes him out. That was a Looney Tunes level moment. It was just so funny. And the idea that all he comes out with is like, just that casual little like, yeah, I can do this now. And then he just casually dual casts. And this man's like, that took me 50 years to do. That's what I love about Noor, is that he has this way of like, okay, he learns a minor healing, he learns a parry, he learns this or that, but he doesn't fit in with any of these schools. And the idea that unless you have a skill, like you're not going to be able to become an adventurer. And what clearly would have happened had Noor not gone off and done his own thing is what would have happened was all 6 of them would have honed his skills to the best they could, but naturally it wouldn't have fell into a category that made sense to them. But eventually he would have realized his strength and he would have, understood that he is more than, some dude who has to clean up rubble. But because he was by himself and he didn't really have guidance, because obviously the guidance that he had up to that point, not that they were trying to be mean or anything, it was quite literally the logical outcome. It pushed him down a different direction, and for a kid who was eating a shit ton of poison, no real parental guidance, it's understandable why he became the dumb cinnamon roll that we've come to know and love. But the idea that, because when you think back to 2 episodes ago, when some of the instructors are like, wait a second, is that Nor? It puts that into a different light, because up to that point I'm like, oh, they trained him, but it looked like they didn't have faith in him. So it's kind of like that typical, oh shit, you surprised me, we didn't really think highly of you. In fact, no, it's the complete opposite. It's like, damn it. There was so much disappointment from many of them because they look at him and say, he could surpass me. But he hit that wall, and I have nothing else I can teach him, but maybe this other school can. The best was when there's this one school which you can't get into unless you have a blessing. It's like, there's a whole can of worms. He stands there day after day. I don't even think he was eating during that whole winter storm, and that's where he learned his minor heal. And the fact that all of them just truly, they were impressed. There was only one who was a bit more pushbacky, and that was just because she was a tsundere. But otherwise, you just get a sense of family there, and I think it puts their reactions to where he currently is now in a completely different light. Not that they're like, oh shit, we didn't get to train him and we feel disappointed. It's almost like it's a bunch of parents being like, actually, even if we weren't the ones to be able to bring out his potential, we see that he was able to do it himself. Yes, he doesn't realize it because he's an idiot, but that's part of the comedy charm. And that's why this show quickly became, I think, my favorite of the season. And if not, probably tied with favorite. I would just have to take a second to really ponder what I would tie it with. Fantastic. People don't have to agree with that level of praise, but I think one thing should be a universal opinion or close to it. This show was more than a gimmick. This show was more than just some dumb guy doesn't know his own strength. They had heart, they had soul, and they kept the comedy fresh and exciting. And for the most part, 7 or 8 out of 10 times, the reason why he was so oblivious to what people were saying kind of made sense. And the couple of times where he didn't, you have a girl thinking that this is her sensei and she just has to believe what he's saying is law because he's so talented. There was a couple of dumb moments like that, but that just honestly was funny to me too. I think this was pretty much as close to perfect as you could ask for, and the fact that the past month or so of this show, there was that one scene when he was running through during the assassin training. The animation had no right to be that good, but goddamn Sakuga. Let me know what you thought of I Parry Everything. Did you love it as much as me, or what did you think of the show? Let me know down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Pickrick542, Thor Linsgaard, Vi, Anthony Silva, Mac Velli, Christopher Stevenson, Zane Zardonks, Natasha N. Henry, and we also have Agus TR. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.